In the deepest shadows of Millbury Forest stood the old Hallcroft Manor, a crumbling relic of a bygone era. Its cracked windows stared ominously at the world outside, as if the house kept a watchful eye on those who dared to venture near. Locals had long since abandoned any thought of entering it, knowing only whispers of its haunted past echoed through their town. Emma never believed in ghost stories. Even while growing up near the forest, she'd laughed at her friends when they dared each other to run up to the manor's gate. But now, curiosity gnawed at her, fueled by rumors of strange lights and eerie sounds replacing the forest's natural symphony. That's how she found herself standing at the overgrown path leading to the mansion, her heart a mix of thrill and trepidation. It was just after dusk when she began her journey, the forest shrouded in a foggy haze, the air thick with the scent of pine and decaying leaves. Each step seemed to take her further from reality, lured deeper into the mysteries that had cloaked Hallcroft Manor for generations. The distant call of an owl broke the silence, a reminder of the living world she was leaving behind. As the manor loomed into view, Emma hesitated, the reality of its presence weighing heavily. Its architecture was a mix of Victorian grandeur and nature's relentless conquest, the ivy clawing up its ancient walls with unchecked zeal. The iron gate, rusted yet sturdy, creaked open as she pushed against it, the sound a ghostly groan that echoed through the night. The threshold felt like an invisible barrier, a passage from safety into the unknown. The door swung wide with an almost eager swiftness, revealing a grand yet decrepit foyer. Moonlight filtered through the windows, casting angular shadows that filled the room with unsettling shapes. Reluctantly, Emma stepped inside, the dust puffing up around her feet like phantoms disturbed from their rest. The air was cold and dry, filled with the scent of aged wood and something eerily sweet. The silence was heavy, almost oppressive, a deep void swallowing sound except for the soft creaks of the old house settling. Emma's footsteps became softer, careful, the sound magnified in the stillness as if the manor was listening. Exploring the ground floor, she passed through rooms filled with antique furniture draped in dust covers, like specters frozen in time. Her fingers brushed against a photograph hung crookedly on a cracked wall. It depicted a family, their expressions somber, their eyes too alive for their time. Emma's skin prickled with unease at those eyes, staring through the haze of bygone years. Upstairs, she found herself drawn down the corridor, the carpet underfoot worn to threadbare paths by footsteps long since faded into history. Each door she passed whispered a different story, of laughter, of arguments, of the mundane moments that accumulated into a life within these walls. One door stood ajar, with pale light seeping through like breath from a still body. Pushing it open, Emma stepped into what appeared to be a child's room. Toys lay scattered amidst the layers of dust, not recently disturbed, but curiously preserved from the passage of time. A rocking horse stood still in the center, its painted eyes dull and knowing. Emma's heart quickened as the temperature in the room dropped perceptibly. She moved to the window, inspecting the light she had seen, but nothing outside explained its origin. It felt as though the illumination was a thing alive, entwined with the manor's essence itself. She backed away and nearly tripped over a small, leather-bound diary lying inconspicuously on the floor. Picking it up, Emma felt an odd sense of familiarity, the leather warm to her touch despite the chill. Flipping it open, she saw page after page filled with meticulous, slanted handwriting, the ink unnervingly fresh. The entries were mundane at first, descriptions of chores, lessons, and family gatherings. But soon, they took a darker turn as the child, who signed her name as Lillian, began describing a hidden room in the house, a room that wasn't supposed to exist. The descriptions grew increasingly frantic, driven by fear or madness. Lillian wrote of shadows that moved independently, of whispers echoing from nowhere. Her family never believed her. The last entry chilled Emma. "It is watching, muttering my name. I must find the room before it finds me." Emma's breath quickened, her pulse pounding in her ears. There was a small sketch of where Lillian believed the room to be hidden, a hollow within the walls, a sealed space, forgotten by all. Entranced by curiosity and a need to know Lillian's fate, Emma resolved to find this secret room. Guided by dim moonlight, she retraced the child's drawn steps, leading her to the hallway again, past an unfathomable darkness under the rotting floorboards. She trailed her fingers along the wainscoting, searching for inconsistencies. Finally, her fingertip caught an imperceptible latch beneath the wallpaper, cleverly camouflaged but real. With a soft click, a hidden door swung backward into darkness. Musky air escaped like a sigh from the shadowed cavity. The small, oppressive space was just as Lillian had described. Emma hesitated only a moment before shining her flashlight into the void, despite the warning clanging like a bell in her mind. Her light fell upon a small chair nestled among cobwebs and debris, but no explanations came forth, just the hollow silence of ages. The room was otherwise bare, a stark contrast to Lillian's frantic entries about its menacing presence. Yet the air felt charged, humming like a distant chant, vibrating against Emma's skin. Just then, an almost imperceptible sound slithered through the air, a soft, evasive muttering, reminiscent of a child's timorous voice. The room's true nature pressed heavily against her senses. It wasn't abandoned. It felt occupied by an energy beyond comprehension, drawn to her presence. Frantically, Emma backed away, desperate to escape this simply defined space that harbored such incomprehensible terror. Her footfalls echoed erratically on the cracked floorboards as she fled, her mind a tumble of unresolved questions mingled with primal fear. Reaching the outside world felt like surfacing from deep, turbulent waters. The fog had thickened, wrapping tightly around Hallcroft Manor, as if unwilling to release its secrets. Emma stumbled down the path, her mind racing with revelations poisonous with doubt and dread, questions unanswered, sanity on the brink. But she never saw the final twist until it unfurled before her exhausted mind. She found herself back at the Iron Gate, but beyond it, the world had altered alarmingly. The village she knew, the meandering paths leading ever closer to familiarity, were gone. In their place lay a barren landscape under a blood-red sky, a reflection of the manor's eeriest colors cast too vividly. Struggling against the gravity of terror, Emma turned back to the manor, only to see the soft glow illuminating the windows. An invitation, a warning, or perhaps a finality. She was not alone in the shadowed garden. A stately figure emerging from the mist, its gaze an enigma that struck deeper than waking nightmares. Emma realized what had been true all along. She never left the walls. Millbury Forest, its neighborhoods, the cautious villagers were echoes, shadows printed timelessly upon her mind, threaded by the manor's capricious heart. And Lillian, ever hidden and crying, had become part of its essence. She and Emma, inextricably bound to its cursed soul. As the stranger at the gate beckoned, Emma comprehended her place within the tale, transpiring beyond human reckoning. Her voice silenced alongside Lillian's, making a different kind of sense of utter existence. Now she, like the others entrapped, would watch and wait. Just another set of eyes in the hall's chilling portrait gallery.